FDR shaped the world stage, but what became of the children he left behind? Some courted scandal. Others defied everything he stood for. And one name still raises questions historians can't agree on. This isn't just a story of a famous president, it's a deeper look into the dynasty that followed. Number 1. Two sons named Franklin Jr., one died, the other lived in his shadow. Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt gave the name Franklin Jr. to two sons, a haunting rarity. The first, born in 1909, died at 7 months from pneumonia. In 1914, they reused the name for another son. That second Franklin Jr. became a Navy officer, lawyer, and congressman, but lived under the shadow of both his name and father. He married 3 times, went bankrupt, and was mocked as the Roosevelt who never quite made it. By the 1950s, his debts made headlines, despite high-level connections. He spent money like a Roosevelt but earned it like a plumber, one associate joked. Eleanor once wrote that reusing the name was a way to keep his memory alive, perhaps to rewrite fate. Why name a second son after a deceased one? Was it mourning or something deeper? Number 2. James Roosevelt, the first son who went bankrupt and turned Republican. Born in 1907, James Roosevelt was FDR's eldest and once his closest political ally. He served as a White House secretary, accompanied FDR to world conferences, and briefly served in Congress. But beneath the polished image, his life unraveled. James had 2 divorces, multiple affairs, and a scandal involving insurance lobbying. In 1962, he filed for personal bankruptcy, owing over $500,000, a staggering sum then. In 1968, he shocked the public by joining the Republican Party, endorsing Richard Nixon. Eleanor called it a betrayal of his father's legacy. James later said, "If I were named James Smith, I might have had a normal life." Insiders believed money and resentment drove his shift. What would push a president's son to side with political enemies? Number 3. Elliot Roosevelt, war hero or corrupt opportunist? Born in 1910, Elliot Roosevelt was a decorated World War II pilot and brigadier general. But his post-war life became scandal-ridden. He was married 5 times, sued repeatedly, and investigated for leveraging his surname. By the late 1940s, Elliott secured defense contracts through dubious means. He was under FBI surveillance for years. In 1950, Congress accused him of exploiting presidential privilege. Hoover called him a potential national risk. His 1970 memoir An Untold Story claimed FDR's White House was filled with secrets, even hinting at conspiracies around his father's death. His siblings dismissed it as fiction. Eleanor once wrote, "Elliot had charm, but chaos in his blood." Was he a misunderstood hero or the most self-destructive Roosevelt? Number 4. John Roosevelt, the Republican who broke his mother's heart. John Aspinwall Roosevelt, born in 1916, was FDR's youngest surviving child and the only one to fully reject the family legacy. He never ran for office, kept out of headlines, and quietly joined the Republican Party in the early 1950s. While FDR shaped the New Deal, John supported Eisenhower and raised funds for Nixon. Eleanor, heartbroken, wrote, "John has taken a different path. It cuts me deeper than I expected." John became a senior executive at Back & Company, a Wall Street firm. While his brothers drew scandal, John avoided the spotlight but not the resentment. He didn't want to be part of the Roosevelt circus, one friend said. He died of heart failure in 1981 at age 65, leaving behind 4 children and the title of the only Roosevelt to publicly walk away from everything his father stood for. Number 5. Anna Roosevelt, the daughter who helped hide her father's mistress. Anna Roosevelt, born in 1906, was FDR's only surviving daughter and one of his closest confidants during World War II. As his health declined, Anna took charge of access to the president and began secretly arranging meetings with Lucy Mercer, despite Eleanor's ban. She scheduled private visits in the White House and at Warm Springs, shielding Lucy's presence from the press and from her mother. Eleanor learned the full truth only after FDR's death. Anna married 3 times, with her final husband, journalist John Bodeger, fleeing to Mexico amid IRS troubles. Though she hosted a radio show and briefly worked for President Truman, nothing eclipsed her role during her father's final years. Eleanor never forgave her. Anna chose her father over her mother, and that was a wound that never healed. Anna died in 1975 of throat cancer, leaving behind a legacy of devotion and deep family division. Number 6. A Dynasty of Divorce, 19 marriages, countless affairs. FDR and Eleanor's 5 adult children went through a combined 19 marriages, and all 5 divorced at least once. James and Elliot married 5 times each, Anna and Franklin Jr. 3, and even Quiet John divorced once. Affairs plagued their relationships. Elliot's second wife said he brought mistresses into their home. James's divorce settlements were tabloid gold. Eleanor once joked, "If one of my children stays married longer than a Senate term, I'll consider it a miracle." Marriages often began impulsively, some after just weeks of courtship. One Roosevelt even got engaged to a Las Vegas showgirl, alarming DNC officials. These broken relationships reflected more than just bad luck. Many blamed an upbringing overshadowed by power, absence, and pressure. Their lives looked golden from the outside, but emotionally, the Roosevelt kids never found stability. Number 7. The Secret Seventh Child? FDR, Lucy Mercer, and a Vanishing Daughter. One of the most persistent rumors in U.S. history is that FDR fathered a secret child with his longtime mistress, Lucy Mercer. Their affair began in 1916 when Lucy was Eleanor's secretary. It ended in scandal in 1918, when Eleanor found love letters, but the connection didn't stop there. FDR and Lucy remained close for decades. When he died in 1945, Lucy, not Eleanor, was at his side in Warm Springs. According to persistent whispers, Lucy gave birth to a daughter in 1919, possibly named Barbara Ann Mercer. No official documents confirm this, but Mercer family friends described a quiet girl who disappeared from view. A Roosevelt cousin once said, the family knew of her, but she was erased. No DNA proof ever surfaced. Lucy died in 1948, and whatever secrets she held died with her. Could the most powerful man in the world have hidden a daughter from history? Number 8. Political careers that fizzled and flopped. The Roosevelt children were groomed for public life, but none succeeded politically. James served briefly in Congress, then lost his bid for governor. Franklin Jr. served under Truman and Kennedy, but was viewed as writing on the Roosevelt name. Elliott attempted a run in Texas but was dismissed after promising Roosevelt-level change while battling fraud allegations. Even apolitical John secretly funded Republican PACs, though he never ran. A 1971 New York Times piece called them a dynasty without direction. Columnist Drew Pearson wrote, "Their father led the free world. They couldn't lead a PTA." One former aide said, "Every Roosevelt campaign felt like watching a train wreck in slow motion." Number 9. The FBI watched them all, Hoover's quiet war on the Roosevelt children. J. Edgar Hoover didn't trust the Roosevelt heirs and kept FBI files on each of them. Elliott's defense contracts, James's lobbying, and Franklin Jr.'s land deals all raised flags. Even Anna was monitored for her links to activists and her role in allowing Lucy Mercer near FDR. Hoover feared their influence could destabilize politics. In 1953, an internal memo called them reckless, politically volatile, and financially entangled. No major charges were filed, but investigations dragged down reputations. The Bureau's files didn't destroy the Roosevelts, but they recorded the slow collapse of an American dynasty in intimate, scandalous detail.